All right. So thank everybody for coming today. And I'm not sure if all of you have met my youngest son. This is John Bamber, and he's from the Dayton, Tennessee area. He's been on several of them and talked, but um, you may not have become familiar with John and his expertise yet. And he is a business developer. That's what he's done. And he's an entrepreneur in his own right. So I really appreciate that he has joined the WAVwatch team. Anything else, John? Can you tell
Oh,
them
I'm
about what you
on.
do or?
I'm just really honored to be here. I've been an entrepreneur, a small businessman, economic development, and an artist, all sorts of different things. But I'm excited to be on this team and excited about reading through the testimonials and seeing how it's really changed people's lives. And that's definitely something that's worth signing up for. So I'm very honored to be on the team and working with you, Mom.
Yes. And I'm just going to be a mom and say one of my favorite projects that him and his wife Lindsay did in Dayton, Tennessee was to remodel an 1880s church, if I'm
Mhm.
saying that correctly, and turned that church that had been abandoned into a spectacular event center in that town, and then also provide Airbnb services for that. So that was an amazing project to renovate a church with integrity. So
Yeah,
anyway, thanks, John, for doing that, and Lindsay too. So,
thank you.
well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but thank you for coming today. And we're going to be talking about bone health. We have talked about bone health previously. I'm not sure if you've seen it. Don't forget that you can go to Facebook Frequency Fanatics and check just by topic, if you're interested in a particular idea and see if I've covered any information on that. And I have talked about bones before, but we have added some new frequencies with the frequency upgrade to 1,000+ frequencies. So I thought I would highlight those new frequencies today and let you see what you could be accessing. And don't forget that you can order a SD card or TF card, whatever you want to call it, and upgrade your watch. If you have an 870 watch, you can upgrade it to 1,000+ frequencies for $60. So hopefully that will give you enough information, and just go to the website if you're interested in that. So I'm going to try to share my screen here and see where we're at. Uh, let's see. Okay, so John, I guess you have to let me screen share. Maybe I jumped
I'm,
in too
I'm
quick
working on
here.
it. You're now the hostess.
Okay, so I did that wrong, man. Okay.
You're good now. My fault. Have you got it now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay.
So this is what I was referring to earlier. If you want to share some of these topics or learn a few more ideas, and don't forget we have information on Rumble and YouTube, and we're adding more all the time. We have several people on staff that are doing that, and I so appreciate their help. So Ina Schmidt is one of those that adds all the time. And then we have Tom and Terry who live in Washington, or excuse me, Oregon State, and they are doing our customer service and working diligently to answer your questions as much as possible. So thank you so much for helping out on that and working with us. We do have to start with a disclaimer, and I hate to bore you, but most of you, if you've been on before, you know that this is not a medical device. It's not approved by the FDA. Believe it or not, frequencies have been around since the beginning of time, as we were spoken into existence, and they are still considered experimental. So we do use the names of diseases in the descriptions, and that is only so that you can find something that might match a diagnosis that you've been given from the medical community, or your own self-care diagnosis. Like if you know you have a headache, you want to look for it under that particular phrasing. So that's the only reason that we do have some of those diseases listed, not a diagnosis. Now, the most important thing today that we're working with is the bones. So it's very important to know that our um, frequencies go through bones really fastly, very, very fast. Frequencies go through our skin, not just our ears. We are working with vibrations all day long through many, many different senses through our body. And so many of them do bypass the ear. So these vibrations can be very good for your system. And we are only talking about acoustical ones. We are talking about in the range from 20 to 20,000. If they're lower, they're considered, ultra low vibrations. If they're higher, they're ultrasound. We are only working with safe acoustical frequencies that we know of, because that's why you can wear it and you can absorb it through the watch on the back of the speaker that is touching your skin. So when our skull starts to vibrate, these sound waves go up and down through the spine very, very easily. And that's very important for what we're going to be talking about today. Um, they're saying that whole body and vibration therapy can help with many health benefits. So there is information about that. Let me see if I can hide there we go. Um, I messed it up. There, finally, 3 attempts. This is from healthline.com, and they are definitely saying that vibration therapy has benefits. So it could help with bone density. It could help with muscle mass, circulation, joint pain, back pain, alleviate stress, boost metabolism. But the ones that we're really looking at today would be the bone density, the joint pain, the back pain, those kind of ideas. So definitely some information that vibration therapy helps people. And I think most of you know that. That's why you're here today, because you may have already purchased the WAVwatch, or you may be thinking about it and somebody might have told you about it. Now, there are other kinds of therapies, and I don't know if any of you have seen some of these, but they have acoustic therapy lounges. And so you can lay on like a bed. I wouldn't call it a med bed at this particular time, but it is a bed. And when I laid on this particular model, you could feel every vibration. And that's what they said, was that they had put every vibration into this so that you're just vibrating, and receiving every vibration. And the WAVwatch has the exact opposite idea. We are targeting with specific vibrations. So to me, that is very, very important, because I don't know how many vibrations there are in the world, but I know that I have about 24,000 vibrations packed into 1,000 frequency sets on the WAVwatch. So I can't imagine how many vibrations might be in, some of the acoustical beds that are trying to give you a huge variety of vibrations. And they also cost quite a bit. They're in the 40 to 60,000 range, but I'm not saying that they don't work at all. I'm not saying that. I'm just showing you that there are so many acoustical therapies out there, and the WAVwatch is one that uses targeted frequencies, very specific for the labeled product or the labeled self-care idea. So if we look, or if you have your watch with you, or maybe even your booklet, you can see in the bone category, which is inside the pain folder, if we had 870 frequencies on one of these watches, and that's the one that you have, you would be able to work with this particular idea, these particular ideas right here for bones. Okay. So what I have done is upgrade the watch, and this is the frequencies that are on the 10 watch, actually. And so it's over 1,000 frequencies. And so the ones that are in black are the new frequencies that I was able to find and add. And it was quite a feat to get everything squeezed in here, Now, my son John is very, you're kind of going down the route of being an inventor too, aren't you, John? because he is looking at some new ideas for us to be able to put more frequencies on, and to change the whole concept of the watch. And we'll let you know if anything happens that way. But he's also working with bones, using bones to actually do that. Is that the way to say that, John? The ideas
Yes,
you're working on?
I'll
Yeah, we'll
we'll
talk.
unveil it all when it's ready. But yeah, we've got some interesting ideas that would carry the frequencies potentially more efficiently into the body, but also some different ideas for the user interface and user experience with the unit, and but not to take away from the current unit as well. But we're always looking toward the future and want to continually make a better product, continually improve what we have. I kind of am a little bit gun shy about this. I grew up with a love of food especially from my mother, and so I don't want her to feel like I'm messing with her special cookie, famous cookie recipe. But no, we're looking to continually improve the cookie recipe and give an even better experience and result to our clients. So.
So that's why he's on the team. Thank you so much, John. So what we've added is bone diseases, bone spurs, bone and periodontal disease, bone fractures, spinal bone spurs, and spinal stenosis. So I've covered a little bit of, in depth on some of these ideas. And then if you want to go back to the program that I gave for this one, it would just cover these ideas specifically. And we have, both today if we have time, but I would like to allow some time for, if anybody has any testimonies, any improvements in their bone health, or any other testimonies, it would be great too. We always welcome testimonies, but I'll try not to bore you too much, but just want to give you a little bit of information about bone diseases. These would be some basic bone diseases that I could just see on the internet. So we are not saying that this could help any or all of them, but just the fact that these are the bone diseases that it might be able to work with. So it was a generic type frequency for a variety of bone diseases. So don't forget that different things could help you, even though they may not be labeled exactly like maybe a medical community has labeled a product. And I'm going to kind of take you off just a little bit different directions and give you an example that I had. I was wearing the WAVwatch around, and I had it set on the pathogen folder, didn't even know what was playing, but all of a sudden I got huge stabbing sensation right here in my thumbs. And I literally went, and I was able to touch the on and off button for a second so that it lit up the screen, and I could see that it was playing Epstein-Barr virus. Now that pain only lasted about, I don't know, 10 or 20 seconds, and it went away, and nothing else happened as it played the rest of the folder. And so in my mind, I'm going, what does that do? Well, the next morning I woke up and all of my arthritis in my hands that I'd had for a couple of years that I was trying to work with and figure out what to do, went away. So literally 8 minutes of Epstein-Barr virus cleaned out whatever it was, maybe that was connected to my arthritis. So don't be afraid to place something that is not labeled what you think you have a problem with. I hope that, kind of helps you a little bit. And again, these are safe as far as I am concerned, and as far as everyone's concerned. We talk to each other, we speak to each other, and that's the acoustical frequency. So if you've been told that you can't listen to a song, one of the biggest questions that I always have is so-and-so has a pacemaker. Can they use a WAVwatch? And my reply, and I'm not trying to be too glib, but I'll always say, well, does the doctor speak to you, or can your spouse speak to you? Can you listen to songs? Well, yes. Well, that's the same thing as a WAVwatch. So it should be safe. I think I've had just a couple of examples of somebody might have had some diarrhea, after using something, but nothing too, should be too problematic when we are working with acoustical frequencies. So again, if you have something like this, this would be a possibility when you play the bone diseases. Now, another big one that we put on this new edition, the updated 1000 frequencies, is bone spurs. And they're also called osteophytes. This is what the medical community tells you to do for this. This is all I could kind of see. And this is from Cleveland Clinic. And they're saying that you ice it or you use over-the-counter pain meds, you rest, make sure that your shoes are supportive, and then you lose weight. So that's what they're trying to tell you to do for bone spurs. But these bone spurs can put a lot of pressure on your nerves. They could, cause a tendon to, swell up. It's going to, change, cause you some pain. You might have some numbness and weakness, you might have knobby or bumpy areas in your fingers or toes. So I'm kind of thinking that most people are looking for something more than the home remedies or, what is suggested by the medical community. Once you get into there, they may give you some stronger meds and suggest surgery. So I'm hoping that someone has had some relief on a bone spur and would give a testimony. I don't think that I've heard that. I am just thinking that I had possible one myself because I did play bone spurs. I had something on the side of my foot bothering me, and in the very area that I was having trouble, my physical therapist, excuse me, a massage therapist, said she actually felt a little splinter and she pulled a splinter out. And so I couldn't for the life of me figure out if that was really a splinter or if maybe when I played the bone spurs that broke it down. I have no idea. I'm just saying, I hope somebody has a real testimony because mine isn't. But I do know when I played bone spurs that did take that problem away. And so I did actually try to make sure that I improved my shoes. That was probably the other thing that I did was play bone spurs and change shoes. So anyway, these bone spurs can be very, very problematic. So they can put so much pressure on nerves that the problem can get worse and worse until the medical community can decide to give you, some surgery if necessary. Now, towards the bottom of this new list, we have, I think I jumped one. Here's the one I wanted to show you. A bone spur picture. I was assuming that it was a pointed idea. So that's why I'm saying I have no idea if I have a testimony or not. This was from the spinehealth.com, and they had a picture of a bone spur. And they're saying, contrary to the name, bone spurs are typically rounded and smooth. So maybe they do cause some sharp pain, and you think it is a poking, in my mind, I was thinking kind of like a little toothpick. That's why I was questioning my idea about having a splinter. But basically, the bone spurs are a little bit more rounded. So they can be very problematic, even if they are rounded, obviously, and they can be on any part of the body. It doesn't just have to be on the feet. It could be many on the hands. It could be up and down the spine, all kinds of places where bones connect. So I thought I had one more idea to show you. I can't seem to find it. But we do have spinal stenosis also on the WAVwatch, the newest updated one. And it really is a problem with about 95% of people. Some kind of degenerative spinal problems start occurring after the age of 50. We start having more trouble with our spine. So we could have some pain or weakness, tingling, numbness, and it could be some kind of spinal stenosis. It could be a combination of a bulging disc, thickened tissues, arthritic spurs, So that is tending to be a very common problem. So again, you might be having some pain of some kind and you're not realizing, you don't exactly know what it is, but you could try the spinal stenosis because it does seem to be affecting so many people, although it could be a different combination from somebody else. So again, your other options would be exercise, physical therapy, pain relievers, prescriptions, and then possible surgery. So why not start with the easiest thing that you have on your wrist, which is the WAVwatch, and play the spinal stenosis if you're having some trouble up and down your back. Cover all the basics on that. You may even want to put a playlist together if you're having trouble with back pain. There are 3 different ideas in the joints for back pain. And then you could add the spinal stenosis, you could add bone spurs. There's obviously bone regeneration, and the list goes on and on. So you could have your own playlist for bones and back and that kind of thing if you're having trouble with it. I was kind of interested in just the simplicity of knowing a little bit more about our bones. I kind of forget, I guess there's 206 bones in the body. Didn't remember all of that. They're constantly growing through a cycle of renewal. We know that. And older bone tissue is formed with new bone tissue in a remodeling process. But sometimes some of the prescription medications that we are being told about are messing up that remodeling process. So please, please be so careful what you choose to do if you think you have osteoporosis or osteopenia, some of those kind of things. And so, we want to have our bones reinforced so that we don't need to depend on outside medications if possible. Now, this is what I found out the most. This is the book that changed my practice the most. This is a book called The Calcium Lie, because what we have been told now, if we're looking more the natural route, is that calcium is the be all end all, and they've added calcium to everything under the sun. When you buy milk, when you buy, orange juice, everything has calcium in it now. And he calls this an outright lie. And he says, what your doctor doesn't know could kill you. That's the name of his book. And basically what he says that since we invented refrigerators, we quit salting our food. And so now we're mineral deficient. And the quote unquote answer that was given to us was to take calcium. Well, calcium isn't the only thing that our bones are made out of, but that's what they want us to believe. So when we take too much calcium, it messes everything else up. So these are some other things that we need for our bones. So we need the potassium, the magnesium, chromium, all kinds of trace minerals. Bones are made of at least a dozen minerals, and they have to be in the right proportion. And that's what bothers me. We have gotten our calcium so out of proportion that it's causing all of these other health problems, bone abnormalities you can see on here. It messes up the parathyroid. Our vitamin D is then out of balance. Magnesium's out of balance. Everything is out of balance. And I do have some people who tell me, well, I take a mineral composite, or I take trace minerals. And I'll say, well, how many minerals do you get? And they really don't know. They'll say, well, I'll have to look at my bottle, or, I'll have to see what it tells me. And then sometimes they'll come back to my office and they'll say, oh, so my, mineral complex has 20 minerals in it, or it has 35. So where are we going to get minerals when there's actually about 80 some minerals? So the answer is salt, real salt. And I'm going to keep talking about this. I've talked about it before. And so some of you may be a little bit bored, but our bones are minerals. They're not calcium that hardens like concrete. So if you are taking the advice of take less salt, that's only that table salt, which is iodized sodium, and it's been stripped of everything else, all the essential minerals. But if you take natural salt, which would be, I can't seem to see a slide on that, but if you take natural salt, which would be Himalayan, which is a little pinkish color because it has iron in it, or if you take a different kinds of sea salts that are colored, you're going to get some more minerals. I usually take the Celtic or Celtic sea salt, also is a really good one. And then the Redmond's real salt are my three favorite salts. And they all have about 80 different minerals in them. And they're different colors because they have different minerals. So if you have learned to muscle test, you can tell which one your body needs the most, and it's telling you which mineral it's low in. So do you want to have salt on hand that's natural, or do you want to have 80 bottles of minerals, to get all the minerals in that you need? Because we have been misadvised by that. So our bones are in really bad shape. So we're having more kidney stones, gallstones, bone spurs, osteoarthritis. It messes with our hypertension, diabetes. The list is endless when our minerals are messed up and when there's too much calcium. So please, please, please check out this book if you haven't seen it before. And I'll go back to The Calcium Lie. What your doctor doesn't know could kill you. So I am really telling you that I've been in the health field for about 15 years, natural health field, mostly working with energy. And this book is the one that changed my practice the most because people are not realizing all of those minerals. That's why we fought wars over minerals, That's why they traded in minerals. That's why they paid wages in salt. So we need to be learning from ancient cultures the importance of salt and take enough salt. So these are just a few other ideas about that. The calcium, the kidneys need extra magnesium to cope with calcium, but the magnesium's already been diverted for adrenal function. So then that causes a problem. And you can kind of see, I tried to give you some ideas of why the excess calcium is so dangerous for our health. And what are they testing for when they test for, arteries and, blocked arteries and clogged arteries? It's calcium, right? So think about that and be very careful with your calcium. So this is his six-step formula to return to good health, including good bone health. So he says, drink and bathe in pure water. Lots of variations in what is considered pure water, though. So take only unrefined sea salt minerals. Again, there were three that I mentioned, the Celtic, and that's the one that I see that most men take. Now, women who are still having their cycle are going to usually muscle test more for the Himalayan salt. Again, I mentioned it has iron in it. So anybody in that who is menstruating will be having usually the Himalayan salt. And then as women age and stop their cycle, go through menopause, I've done this with 6,000 people. They all test for the Redmond sea salt. It would be a very rare woman that tests for the Celtic salt like the men do. So, you can kind of take that as a starting point if you want, learn to muscle test. And we do have a whole program on muscle testing, but start using some different salts. And believe it or not, the suggestion is a teaspoon a day for about a 150-pound person. So for about the last 7 years, I've taken a teaspoon of salt almost every day of the Redmond's real salt. Okay. So use only whole food vitamins, eat nuts, seeds, and cold water fish, eat high quality protein. And he also suggests eating a tablespoon of maple syrup daily or eating honey, fresh fruits, berries, sweet potatoes, parsnips, beets, and onions. And I think that's what I do. Number 6 there is eat a little bit more of a variety. But seriously, the minerals are where we are messing up our bones. Now, again, this is the standard medical device. or excuse me, advice. So they're just saying calcium, vitamins, healthy weight, protein, magnesium, and zinc. Again, the natural salts have 80 some vitamins in them. So don't pick out few vitamins, or excuse me, a few minerals and overemphasize those. Make sure you're taking something. And I have never forgotten this phrasing. Someone said that the salt that we get from the sea is as pure as we can get it, at different stages. And then it's been buried, like the Redmond sea salt from Utah has been buried for, eons, and it has not been exposed to any of our toxins today. And the comment that was made was that this is how God created it in specific proportions. And that's all we need to know, is that God created it just like we needed it. So we don't need to be second guessing and again trying to figure out 80 types of minerals and where we're going to get them from. Just take salt and make it easy on yourself. And I've had such amazing testimonies with people who have changed and actually started taking more salt. So these are the types of fractures that we're getting all the time because we are not taking good enough care of our bones anymore, it seems like. So I just thought this was an interesting one from dreamtime.com. Make sure I give them credit there. But so many kinds of fractures, and our bones are needing that support. So there is a frequency for bone fractures, and that is a pretty important one. And very important one, just to play once in a while to support yourself. Another one that you could use for your bones is inflammation, pain, and trauma, for a fracture, if you have any kind of a fracture. So make sure that you go the medical route. If you, hurt yourself in any way and it's been fractured, then you could also use the inflammation, pain, and trauma. Do what your medical community says, and then also play the bone fractures. Might give you quite a bit more support for that. I think I've answered this before, and I did not actually credit the site where I found this on, and I apologize in advance. I could not go back and find it, but I think it's so important that we learn that cats purr at a frequency between 25 and 50 hertz. And so even having a cat on your lap once in a while, if you've got some sore bones, can actually help. So most of the frequencies for healing bone are in that lower level of, the 20 to 20,000. So they are going to be just, harder to hear possibly, although I do have a combination of frequencies in the particular frequency set for most of those. So you can hear them, but if there's one that's very, very soft, it's probably because it's just a couple frequencies and it's in that low frequency range that we can't hear very easily. But again, a cat purr is the perfect sound, the perfect frequency to heal bones and help with circulation and muscles, even, it says. So go for the cats in that particular idea. And just kind of to wrap this up just a little bit more, there are some essential oils for bone healing. So I don't know these off the top of my head, but cypress oil, fir needle essential oil, helichrysum oil is an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory. And peppermint is always going to soothe and reduce pain. I hope some of you've learned to use peppermint for a headache if you need that too. And then most of them just really provide pain, help you through the pain and discomfort. So those are the ones that I could find that were very specific for bone healing: the cypress, the fir needle, and the helichrysum. So there are other things beside over-the-counter pain medications if you are having trouble with bones in any way, shape, or form. I've got just a few more slides. These are a repeat from the ones that are on bone health number one, I guess you'd say. This is bone health number two, because we have frequencies for osteoporosis. And some people might say, well, I don't have osteoporosis, I'm not playing that. I play it because I want to prevent it. So I hope you're into that idea too, you know. So women especially, are going to lose some height. They start to stoop, and I've been finding that myself, we might have more shortness of breath. We're going to have bone fractures and pain in the lower back because of this osteoporosis. So hopefully we're preventing it more if we have balanced minerals from salt. That's my number one suggestion. And I can even say this, I'm the creator of the WAVwatch. I think that is more important for our bones than the frequencies that I have on here. I think they're going to help us to maybe compensate quicker, recover quicker, but you've got to have those minerals as a base all the time to be rebuilding your bone. Don't mess it up with too much calcium. Make sure you're taking 80 minerals in some way, shape, or form. And by the way, I just take my water, my teaspoon of salt in a little, almost like a shot glass, and just gulp it down. Sometimes I add it to my mushroom coffee, a half a teaspoon maybe. And then I take a half a teaspoon in water. So you got to be getting those minerals down. That's why the salt trade was amazingly huge all over the world in past times. Now, again, I've already mentioned, be careful with osteoporosis and medications. There's some bad things going on out there. You have to do your research and study it, because you're probably not going to be notified or told really plainly. When you go to a medical community, you're going to have to find things out yourself or ask around. And I think we're closing out now. I guess I had one more slide, but we're going to be able to open this back up. If you've got any comments or would like to, share anything with us, kind of raise your hand, and John will be taking care of that. So the last little idea I had: can gentle vibration improve bone density and prevent fractures? Now, again, we're looking after menopause. And so there was a study done on this, and it's health.harvard.edu. And they are going to be working with this. They are studying 2 low-intensity oscillating devices. And so we will be getting some more information to see what they say about this. I guess I thought that they had finished their study, but it is still in the process. So I will try to update you on that. But in my opinion, we already have so many ideas that bone density can change with bone health and vibrations. So thanks for sticking with me here. And here we go. There we go. All right. Any comments? John, go ahead and take over that.
Well, actually, there's a few questions in here that I'm gonna have to leave to your expertise, Mom. So Martha L was wondering about some more information about muscle testing. And if you've answered that before, or if we want to talk about that, but maybe some people are unfamiliar with the concept. So
Just a quick one on muscle testing. You can look it up really easily, and it's also called kinesiology, but you can muscle test with your fingers. So I like to start by saying that your body can tell the difference from a truth or a lie because the muscles tighten up when it's not true. So there are several different hand motions that you can use. And when you make a statement that is true, your body is going to give you one signal. And when you make a statement that is false, it will give you another signal. So in that way, you can sort and sift through supplements or different kinds of salt that your body likes. Now, there's another method called stand and sway, but it's hard for me to show, in this particular one. I think I might be able to do that. But if everybody wanted to try this with me, there's one that's called just sticky fingers. And so you can start, circling with your fingers, and then you can say your own name and see how your fingers react. So if I say, my name is Linda, it's just really slick. You want to try that with me, John? You're going to be the guinea pig here. He's saying no. Can you believe that?
I'm answering questions right now. Sorry.
Okay, he got out of it. Okay, so you can see that my fingers are just slipping and sliding. So that's my yes answer because my name is Linda. My name is Linda. Now, if I say my name is Sue, my name is Sue. Can you see how my fingers just stick there? I mean, it won't even work. My name is Linda. My name is Sue. It will not move. Isn't that kind of interesting? So try that for yourself. Using your own name is the easiest thing. So another one would be to just snap, you know. So if I say my name is Linda, it just snaps right on through. If I say my name is Sue, my fingers don't even slide. They just, my name is Sue, they're sticking. Can you see that in the screen? They're sticking. So that is a false statement. My muscles tighten up or change, you know, something happens. And those signals are given to me. So if I want to know, I should have brought some salt today on my table. But if I want to know, let me see if I could just grab it right quick. Would that be okay? John, I'll let you entertain for a minute.
She's probably grabbing the Redmond real salt or the Celtic salt, or who knows? I got her a giant salt block for Christmas that's supposed to go on the grill. I'm not sure she's going to lug that giant thing back in here. We'll see what she brings back. But salt has been very, very effective, and carries so many minerals that we don't get with iodized table salt. So it's amazing to see that we can get some of these minerals in a very natural way as well. So, perfect timing.
Right. So I have some salt. So if I just wanted to hold this product and I can just say, does my body like this salt? See, it really doesn't. You see what I'm saying? Now you could hold it right here on your chest if you wanted. Does my body like this salt? No. Okay. Now this is the real salt that I was telling you that women my age, you know, out of over menopause, past menopause, usually like. Not every woman, but usually it's probably about 99%. So if I say, does my body like this Redmond salt? Yeah, it just goes and goes and goes. Does my body need this salt? Does my body like this salt? You know, yes. A couple different ways you can do your fingers, okay? Does my body like this salt? Oops. It will not move around. See how it just stuck? Does my body like this salt? No. Okay. So now one more fun thing. I have eliminated 2 salts and I know the one that my body likes. Now I can say, does my body need a half a teaspoon of salt every day? Look at that. It's just going around and around. Does it need a teaspoon of salt? Yes. Does it need 3 teaspoons of salt? Did you see it just stop? Does it need 3 teaspoons of salt? No. Now, guess what? Guys need, a lot of guys will test. Big guys like you, John, if you were doing this, you might say, yeah, you need 3 teaspoons of salt. But mine, do I need 3 teaspoons of salt? No, you know, no.
We've got some more
Okay.
questions coming up. They're starting
All
to
right.
pile in here quicker than I can get them answered. So
All right. So
Jerry is
maybe
wondering
that
about,
was too simplistic, but go
no, no,
ahead.
no, it's good. Jerry's wondering if K2 can remove calcium from the bones. And I hate to say it, but I know K2 is a mountain, and I don't think that's what he's asking about. So something tells me you know though, Linda.
They say it does, but I think again, it's not going to be that simplistic because we have been over the top with calcium for the last 2 decades, probably with everything that we have been given. So that would be a start. To me, it would be more to change the right kind of salt. All right. Another one.
Andrea.
What's the best way to work with exhaustion, insomnia, starting to affect my brain? Um, that's a big one because insomnia can be from so many things. So make sure your brain is detoxed to start with. I would run through all of the detox folders. Make sure that you are also, you know, maybe haven't cleaned out some of the ideas in the germ folder. and then start to go to the senior category, which has specific things for brain. I played that myself last night, so it has name recall and sense of taste, sense of smell, that kind of thing. All right. All right. Different conditions have frequency 1, 2, 3, like sinus and headaches. And that is just saying that there are enough frequencies that have been measured by different sources. And of course, there's different kinds of sinus problems. There's different kinds of headaches. So there are different frequencies inside each one of those when they are labeled 1, 2, 3. It's just letting you know they're different frequencies. So I would play all of them and then listen very carefully to my body to see if it reacts to one more than the other. If it definitely has a reaction on one of them, then I would isolate, say if it's, sinus 2, whatever, and play that one a little bit longer because your body is reacting to that one. And no, it doesn't help to place the watch closer to the region of concern. It definitely does not. Remember, these frequencies go through your body at 4.3 times the speed of sound. So at least 20 people have given me testimonies on kidney stones, and they wore it right here on their wrist. Okay. And that was all within 30 minutes. Okay. Yes, besides the bone frequencies, are there other frequencies that can support bone growth? You might play through some of the dental ones because there's dental, our teeth, our bones, and some of those might also be interactive with your bones. But there is osteomyelitis. There's some infections in the bones. Play through as many of those as you can. Okay. Another question, I don't know if everybody can read these as I am, John. Do I need to read them out loud? What is the best protocol for osteoarthritis to the hip with thin cartilage as far as frequency sets to choose? I would play the osteoarthritis after, and that one is in the joint folder a little bit more, the osteoarthritis. But I would play through all of the bones with two. I wouldn't, again, my whole idea I tried to share with you is play more than one frequency set, cover it very, in many different ways. And then especially if your body reacts to something, play that one the longest, but keep looping through different ideas.
I can ask the questions that way. We're back and forth a little
Okay.
bit. So Kim B is
Okay.
wondering that she's worked with several chiropractors through the years. A few of them had a vibration plate for the patients, and she's kind of saying the WAVwatch do the same thing with cheaper and more portable. She's wondering the best program to run, such as they might have run at the chiropractor's place.
Oh, I'm not sure I'm understanding the question correctly because I had a vibration plate too. And believe it or not, Tesla had a vibration plate, which he supposedly shared with his friend, oh, Mark Twain. Huh? And they
Okay.
played around with it a lot.
And
And
for those of you who are wondering, she's not talking about Elon Musk Tesla. She's talking about Nikola, who predated Elon Musk. Okay.
there you go. Uh, so those are actually running quite a few frequencies. So I don't know if I can tell you, quote unquote, what's the best program to run for a vibration plate. I'm not sure. The whole idea and concept of the WAVwatch is to be specific. And the vibration plate is probably made a little bit more for bones. So, you're in the right folder if you're playing through some of the bones.
So bones and then joints and then maybe some of the
Mhm.
muscle from
So,
the muscle folder as well.
yeah.
Okay. And next we have Gwen who's asking about rebounders and the Celicizer from Dave Hall. And then she also has Algae Cow. I'm not sure about a rebounder.
Okay. I think the rebounder is going to be part of that exercise mode, that they're trying to get you to exercise with. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all need to be out doing our walking and exercising. And I don't know the algae cal. I do not know much about that one, but algae is usually a good product of some kind. I do not know that combination or that one.
All right. John's got two questions in. Oh, no, we've got it. All right. So John Ford is wondering, do we have to hear the frequency and feel the vibrations on your wrist in order to maximize benefit? And I think you have a great answer for this that I've heard before from the WAVwatch. So
Right. So you don't have to hear it. You do want it to be on. You don't want to turn the sound off, but you want your body to feel it. But you may not feel it necessarily. But that's the whole idea. As it vibrates, it goes through so fast, you may not feel it. Now, some people have. I've had a couple women that had breast lumps, and literally, I mean, I do have a video online of the one lady, and she said she felt it go up her hand immediately, like a vibration, and it went, up to her neck. And then she said it just kind of went down to the lump on her breast, and she could feel it vibrating in there. So you may not feel anything at all, but then something might happen. I've had several people that get cold, their hands get cold. They didn't feel a vibration, but their hands got cold and then the pain went away. So many, many variations on that.
All right. Liz is wondering uh, well, so she's avoided hip osteoarthritis surgery, and it's not gotten worse for the last 6 months. She's wondering about different frequency sets and how often she should be using them.
And that's a hard one too. Some people wear their WAVwatch all the time and play something every morning and every evening. Maybe they play it at night. But if you're really working on your bones, I'm not sure why you couldn't use bone regeneration a little bit more. You're trying to regenerate that, and try some of those ideas, or the bone and periodontal disease one might be a possibility. But I would try all of the bone ones. I don't know how long if you've been trying all of those. And if you had the complete list that we now have, there are a few other good ones that you might want to add. If you don't have those, you might want to buy that $60 SD card to make sure you have all of those bone frequencies.
All right. Rose Yu says, does it mean anything if you muscle test the opposite, i.e., my true statements are stronger? So
Basically, that means that your polar, your axis is off just a little bit. But if you do know that that's how you are testing for true versus false, you could still muscle test with that idea. But you would want to do a little bit more research and help to get your polar axis, or your body turned around so that it's correct. But you can tell right or yes and no's with that method, just so long as you know that your body is answering different. Can you mix the salt with anything other than water? I don't know. You can try it. You can salt your food heavier, but when we're talking about a teaspoon a day of minerals that you need to get, it's very hard to do. And again, that's why we love our potato chips, because we're craving that salt, but it's the wrong kind of salt. So, I don't crave salty foods very much because I have adequate salt every day. But you can certainly try it. Again, I just go for a little shot glass and, I'm done with it. But you could sip on it all day long if you wanted to try that.
all right. Martha is wondering where the frequencies come from.
Okay, this is a question I've had asked a lot. These frequencies are basically from Tesla, evidently, who gave some, or somehow there was a connection with Royal Rife. They had some of the same ones, or they had equipment that they developed that measured them. But Raymond Royal Rife is pretty much known as the father of frequencies. And these frequencies have been published in a book, although Rife was destroyed by the AMA after an amazing story. Please look that up, Dr. Raymond Rife. He does have all of those frequencies. All of those frequencies have been reproduced and published. You can even go online and find frequencies. Just type in CAFL, and it will give you the frequencies. So, but you have to have a way to play them. You have to have, sometimes they have computer systems that play them, and you're sitting in front of your computer all day long and listening to this sound, So that's why the WAVwatch is an, improvement on that. And then they do have machines that cost around $20,000 that have frequencies on them also. So, that's why I developed the WAVwatch, is for ease and for the majority of people to use it.
All right. Very good. Lucy wants to know how many WaveWatch users are out there. That's a fun question for you to answer.
Well, I don't know. we're getting closer to the, you know, 18,000. I've sold them for a couple years, and then this last year, the WAVwatch really took off. So, and the name of the book I recommended was the Calcium Lie 1 and Calcium Lie 2.
All right. Todd's wondering about if he's getting headaches from food when he eats out. Is it food allergies or for peanut allergies?
You may not have the updated one, but I believe I was able to add a little bit more on food allergy one. And there are just a couple more frequencies for food allergies in the booklet this time, or on the 1,000 one. So you can work with any of those ideas in the allergy folder. Mhm. And
And
guess
also,
what? They've also figured out that if you have more salt, you have less food allergies. Interesting.
and Todd, obviously a restaurant is going to cook a lot differently than at home. There's going to be more butter, more of all sorts of things in restaurant food. Because if I read your question correctly, it sounds like you're having maybe some headaches when you eat out. There could be other things that they're utilizing that your body's not accustomed to. So,
Great
all
addition to
right.
that.
Um, Sheila's wondering about bone remodeling and how long and daily and how often she should play that frequency.
Again, it is it's what you can do and how you can decide, and then how are you testing to see if your bone is improving, that kind of thing. But if you know you're going to go to the doctor and have a measurement done, I'd be working really hard to play that bone remodeling before then. Now, I do have kind of a testimony that is fantastical, even in my opinion, but I was given a testimony by a lady in Springfield, just verbally. So she says she has it written down, but it never got sent to me. So, I can be more official and get that in the written form. But basically, she had a problem with a root canal, or excuse me, a cap on a tooth. Might not have been a root canal, but a cap on a tooth. And she had the cap was taken off by her dentist, and then they were doing some more work. They told her to come back in a month. And so in that month time period, she had the WAVwatch, and it did have bone regeneration on it and the dental things. And she played those, and she went back in a month, and they told her she didn't need anything done at all, that even her enamel had regrown. Now, I still haven't, a hard time with that one, but that is a testimony that I was given. So, maybe some of these can regrow bone a little bit faster. I do not know. We still, the jury's still out on that, and the medical testing is not available.
CB is wondering if there's frequencies for seizures.
Yes, that's under the brain. Mhm.
All right. And then Rose U is kind of asking about frequencies that are repeated without different numbers. And then so I'm thinking like well, for instance, weight loss one, two, like weight loss one, weight loss two, weight loss modulated. There's three weight loss. There's weight loss one, weight loss two, and just weight loss with no number. So that's what
Mm,
she's kind of wondering about.
yeah, they're all just different. They have a different set of frequencies involved in them. Yeah.
All right. And Martha L's wondering about polar access.
Oh, and it's more axis, it is more your polarity, either your left or right, or, forward or backwards, that type of thing. I'm sorry if I didn't
Yeah,
say that.
axis,
Yeah.
AXIS. Yes, that's the
Yeah.
one. Okay. Donna has fingertips that become cold and painful, obviously with the cold outside. Does she have any, do you have any recommendations? I'm going to say circulation.
You got it. That's
Okay.
one I'd run. Yeah.
All
You
right.
could run maybe inflammation, pain, and trauma too. Our
Mhm.
fingers get inflamed when they get cold.
Okay. Uh, Jerry's wondering about the origin of these rural rife and the frequencies, and then Martha has kind of the same question following him about whether Tesla and Royal Rife find the frequencies.
That is a big one too. I do not know. I know there are about 8 different places that have actually measured frequencies now and published them. And how they got the frequency for a virus is a mystery to me, except they had a machine that measured it. We have some amazing technology out there, and we have had technology that would measure frequencies for over 100 years. So it doesn't mean that they tested the people on them. They were testing a sample, or they had cell. They were doing that with and I do not know exactly how that was done. So maybe somebody can give us a report on that. I do have a picture of the tools that they used, that Rife used, for measuring his frequencies. I have shown that before.
All right. And then I'm answering Doug's question verbally, but you can probably say verbally for vein clots, and I'm thinking it's in WAVwatch pain, and then in the where was it? We've got it in the veins folder within the pain folder. Okay.
Right. Pain and then veins. Yep.
All right. Where's 528 musical cell frequency on the watch?
So the 528 frequency is used in multiple places. Actually, I named my business 432 Energetics because that's supposed to be the frequency of the world, and I thought that would show up in a lot of those frequency sets, but it wasn't as prominent as like a 528 or a 7, I think it was a 714. There were some that were predominant in different measurements that were taken. So again, in some of those frequency sets, I have up to 30 different frequencies, and they were measured, over the years and published. So I didn't make anything up. I didn't measure any frequencies. I just used what has been published and, in the past.
Excellent. Martha is wondering about polar axis.
Yeah. Again, it's your body's ability to I'm not sure I can give you a very good explanation of it, but the person their body is measuring things backwards when they're doing the muscle testing, and so there is a way to reset it, but it's quite a bit more in depth, so that can be answered by doing some of your own research, a little bit, and looking up muscle testing and kinesiology. And I do think, okay, the next question, John.
Yes, Karen wonders about whether it's vital that the watch touch the skin or if it's okay in the fabric sleeve.
I think people are telling me that they have felt the frequency through the fabric, some kind of fabric that they were using. But in my opinion, it would be stronger and better if it was just touching the skin, because the whole idea is that a frequency touches the skin, one cell starts to vibrate, the next cell vibrates and causes other cells to vibrate. And then in that manner, it zips through your body at 4.3 times the speed of sound. So.
All right. In Mountain MTNVW is wondering about veins that break easily and have bruises.
Yes, and so I would play through the vein ideas. Now, if you're thinking bruises too, you could go to the skin, and there is a frequency for bruises. So you might try both of them because you don't know which one your body would respond to better. It's better to, try more things than just try one and say, no, it didn't work. Try several things. Again, if you heard my example about the Epstein-Barr virus taking my arthritis pain away, it hasn't been back in 2.5 years. Just 8 minutes of Epstein-Barr virus. And if I start to feel something, I'll play the Epstein-Barr virus again for protection, And so that's why you shouldn't be afraid to think outside the box and try something different. So go to bruises and skin, but also go to play veins for that particular idea.
Scott is wondering about files A to Z, and some of them are duplicated with the same spelling. He's wondering if there's 2 files that are same spelling, are they the same file or are they slightly different?
Well, I'm not sure on that. There may have been some mistakes when I started adding and, to 1,000 frequencies. I'm not saying I got it done perfectly. And then I had some help, and I know several times we were kind of recorrecting each other, so we might have missed some. But usually we try to differentiate it with an S,
Or a number.
or a number,
Mhm.
make it
And,
plural or a number.
and then Scott is also wondering about updates to the WAVwatch, and I think that's a great question to the current WAVwatch. Any updates?
I do not think we will update the WAVwatch with 1,000 frequencies because the SD cards are full. That's the maximum that they can hold, as far as I am understanding at this time, unless we figure out a completely different way to put it on the SD card. But if you have an 871, yes, all you have to do is go to the website and order the SD card for $60, and you'll be updated from 870 to 1010 is actually what it is, very quickly.
All right. Let's see. I think you answered Todd's question as well with that same one. All right. Okay, you've answered this one too. All right. Band that's small enough for my wrist. Um, Karen, I'll answer that one, or I'll send you a link for some different things. Um, Jerry's wondering how long it takes to add all the frequencies. It's actually in an SD card, and so that's why some of the units can be updated with the new card.
And that SD card takes about 15 seconds to change.
Yeah, it does
Seriously.
not take very long. Yeah, that's right. Scott is wondering for people that muscle test, um, he's wondering if the frequencies change throughout the entire program for the entire 8 minutes, or if the frequencies change over that period of time.
Yes, if it is an 8-minute frequency, they are the same over the whole time period. If it is something like a 28-minute or 24-minute frequency, then every 8 minutes, it will be changing frequencies.
All right. And then Robin's wondering about a swelling frequency.
Hmm. I'm not sure if that word swelling, edema is in the WAVwatch.
And also inflammation is another thing that's
Mhm.
similar to swelling.
Actually, it is. I did find it on page 16 of the newest booklet. If you've got the 1,000 frequencies, it's right here. It's under edema. There's inflammation, pain, and trauma, edema 1, edema 2, and swelling. So there would be 4 ideas to play for that.
Okay. Kim is wondering about sinus 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3 and 3F and 4 and 4M.
Again, it's just I was just trying to represent the different sets of frequencies. They're just different frequencies.
Differentiate different ones. So they're
Mhm.
different neighbor different things. Okay. Someone says there's questions in the Facebook group. I'll check on that. Thank you. I'm new at this. Normally my brother is facilitating these. I better go back to Facebook. All right. And
And
then
I know, yeah, I don't
um,
see Facebook on mine, so
while I'm looking on Facebook, Linda, can you answer, is there a frequency close to graphene oxide detox?
the closest I could come with that is a heavy metal detox. And then also that's in the detox category. And then I know where you're going on this. So the virus detox is also my attempt at detoxing graphene oxide. So that is in the detox category, and it's the very last one, viral detox. Okay. And then you could also go to immune systems and try to, no, that wasn't the one I was thinking. You can also go to skin for some reason. I had RNA, DNA in there. So, you could work with your RNA and DNA, and it's skin restoration, those kind of things. So that might do some help with some RNA, DNA, if you're considering that.
All right.
Um,
I'm looking at some of our Facebook, and I'm seeing someone had a name that they want to share, and then someone else that was went on for a while about some things that are not related to our topic at this moment. So I'm not seeing any comments at this exact moment. Did you answer Kim about the deep vein thrombosis?
I did not. So Kim, we do have frequencies under pain and veins again, and there is one for deep vein thrombosis. And then we did have a testimony on this very, program a while back on somebody that thought he was having a problem with deep vein thrombosis. And if I'm, kind of saying it correctly, he was heading to the doctor and he remembered that the WAVwatch had a frequency for deep vein thrombosis and he started playing it. And it changed and I'm not sure if he went ahead and went to the doctor or he decided he did not need to go, but he said there was a huge improvement.
Okay.
And Donna has her hand raised. Let's see. Donna, you still there or not?
Donna, if you can put something into the chat or the questions. Oh, Donna's here. What's your question, Donna?
Are you there, Donna?
We can't hear her. Let me see if I
No.
can make that work. Donna, okay. I'm new at this. I'm not sure how I can unmute you, Donna. Is there any way that you could actually just put your question into the chat potentially, please? Or the Q&A?
So Kim has another question. I know you said to run osteoporosis as a preventative. Can you do that with any program such as kidney stones or stroke, etc.? That is my idea and my take. Let me tell you, my mother is in memory care. Do you think I'm not running brain ideas to protect myself? So is my sister, and that's the idea. We can strengthen ourselves with frequencies. We can balance our system. We can rebalance it. Basically, when a virus connects with another virus and that has the exact same frequency, those when they meet, they self-oscillate, and there's all kinds of experiments that show that those viruses are killed with frequencies. So
So Donna
and
had frostbite as a kid and has painful toes and fingers and was wondering if you have any suggestions.
again, that might be the circulation. You might try a few more ideas with just inflammation, pain, and trauma. Try all of those. There's several different breakdowns on that. And then, just keep working around with, I don't know if they swell up, if you have any edema or anything like that. Okay.
All right.
And Audrey,
Yeah.
go
She's
ahead, John.
wondering about the germs folder and spike proteins. And she's suggesting that could help the person asking about COVID. Thank you so much.
Right. That was a great answer.
Yes, Kim is wondering about MS, and we do have some MS frequencies. It's multiple sclerosis frequencies under chronic. Kim, so chronic, and then there's an entire multiple sclerosis folder. I'm also going to say that sometimes, mom could probably do an entire seminar on Lyme disease because there's so many so many correlations between Lyme disease and many other things. So I would also recommend running Lyme.
Right. Perfect. And there are 2 programs on Lyme disease. So you could, if you want to, look that up, do a search in Facebook. I haven't done it very often, John. Do you know how to search?
Well, and I also wanted to make a disclaimer here. Like we're not saying that MS and Lyme are the same thing, but there are some symptom correlation between the two, and some of the frequencies of the watch could help running back and forth between the two. And then yes, and then Scott's wondering about mycotoxin detoxification. That's something that we had a question on a couple weeks ago. Is that correct, Linda?
Mm-hmm. And so basically that's a kind of mold, mycotoxins. And so the best I could find on that was just in the germ folder. There is a fungus a whole category for candida, fungus, mold, that kind of thing, and then detox through your liver and your kidneys. So you're going to detox through your organ systems. I do not have anything on there for genetic mutations. So the MTHFR, I do not have anything on there for that, as far as I know, unless the RNA, DNA would be helpful. That's as close as I could get.
All right. Our friend iPad is wondering about effectiveness of the WAVwatch while you're on your cell phone or iPad or something.
We haven't had anything directly for that. That's why we want that on your body and it just zips through. And then if you happen to have your cell phone in your hand at the same time, I don't have an experiment on that to know, but it is a little bit better if you are not holding your cell phone all the time, and especially not holding it up to your ear. But I do not have an answer for that. I haven't had that measured in any way, shape, or form.
Martha's wondering about Facebook. I can still only see 3 comments, and one of them's a name, and the other one's not sure what's going on with that. So I'm sorry, I'm not able to see the comments that are being referred to at this moment.
Let's see, Donna, are we still? Donna still has her hand raised, but other than, I think we're about to wind down. I appreciate everybody coming today and sharing the information and continuing to look on Facebook and somehow do your own research. You can definitely listen to music at the same time. That's a new question that popped up. Yes, you can, because we're hearing things all day long. I mean, even if we have the WAVwatch on, we're still driving a car and the sound of the tires, all kinds of things. So yes, you can listen to all kinds of music.
All right, and then Mr. Cooper is wondering about ferritin levels and amino iron or the hair file. Also wondering about vitamin D.
Yes, that's all I have. There should be something, for iron and anemia on the watch. And then obviously ferritin, you could take some supplements with iron in them. But the salt, in my opinion, does the best. So if you are low in iron, you might possibly be testing for the Himalayan salt. And again, the Himalayan salt is pink. And they say that the pink color is from the iron content in that salt.
Mhm.
Okay. Doesn't that make sense?
And Corky has a question on the battery health, and if you want to take that, and then I can add on to that too, Linda.
Okay. The batteries have been improved since the whole WAVwatch was launched. And so they are running longer and longer, but I have people that are becoming, I'm going to adopt my name. We're becoming more frequency fanatics,
Power
and we're
users.
playing. Yeah, we are using it longer and longer. So, when we play our batteries a lot, it does tend to wear them down quicker. And so I do not know the correct time to suggest.
But I can also say that if you end up running the watch 24/7 for really, really long periods of time, it might be that we have a battery replacement service. I think it runs about $50 through our service department, and that can be accessed through our website. So if it is something that starts to make it where if your battery is lasting say less than 2 to 2.5 hours at a time before a charge, then it might be something that we can replace that battery for you. Like I said, it's about $50, and then you can be up and running again. But it's really hard to say, but somewhere between 3 to 5 hours is probably is right around what the battery is meant to, what it can handle on a fairly daily basis, is what we've heard. All right. And then Martha's wondering about if the good salt we mentioned has iodine in it.
Oh, Martha, I'm so glad you said that. That is one of the only minerals that those salts do not have is iodine. And you'd think, since they were from the sea to start with, that they'd have iodine in them, because of all the kelp and things. So yes, iodine would be one thing to add. That would be the only mineral that you could add. make it very, very easy. And Marilyn, thanks for the idea. Blackstrap molasses is helpful for iron deficiency. That's why we all work together. Lots of ideas. Thank you so much. So
Oh,
I'm apologizing. I'm not sure we got to hear from Donna. Did we get her question?
yes, she was the one about the frostbite, I believe.
Oh, okay. So we did get that question. And again, you just go online to wavwatch.com and click on products and select the SD card. All right.
All right.
Thank you, everyone, for all your amazing questions and help today and your interest in the WaveWatch. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate you all. Have a great afternoon.